Hey, welcome back. If you tuned in to the last video, thank you so much. I really appreciate you tuning in to what I have to say. Again, I think that being able to make these videos and share my opinions and some of my expertise that I've had within the recruitment space is helpful because I can help spread the word a lot faster than just individual one-on-one coaching. So thanks again for tuning in. And I hope today that you get some really good tips and tricks about balancing your quantitative and your qualitative data within your resume, and then really making sure that you're showcasing who it is you are as a candidate so that you're able to stand out when you're applying for roles. And so when you're looking at your career history, we're going to start with folks that are earlier on in their career. And by early on, I mean less than 10 years, right? So let's call it more like 5 years to no years of experience, right? Those of you who are just starting out, you really want to make sure you highlight all of the things that you have done. So even if it was an unpaid internship or you went and did a project through your university for a corporation, if it's not something that is like under a non-disclosure or something of the sort where you cannot physically or cannot articulate the results, then I would highly encourage you to put in those types of work. So while it's not necessarily, hey, I got my W-2 type of role or my 1099 and got paid to do this, it's still relevant experience for the roles that you're applying for. Also, for those of you that are in that less than 5, you really want to keep your resume to the 1 page and only potentially at the 2-page mark if you've had several internships over the course of your schooling that propelled you into your early on career, okay? But really try to make it short and sweet, because 10 years plus 2 to 3 pages is acceptable, but when it's less than that in years of experience, it starts to look more like copying, pasting your job description versus really honing in on what it is you did in the job that has proven results, okay? All right, so that was your 0 to 5-ish, maybe a little bit plus. For those of you with 10 or more years of experience, I've heard so often, oh, my resume can't be more than 1 page. Oh my Lord. I'd have to have 2-point font and someone with a magnifying glass reading my resume in order for me to really call out what it was that I have done in my career that's so impactful. At the end of the day, you can't tell a story in 1 page with 10 years of history, especially if you've moved between companies and showing the progression within your roles, right? If you've taken 2 promotions since you started in your career, that's 3 different buckets and categories of various responsibilities, different tools and programs. You need to be able to highlight yourself. You can't do that on 1 page. 2 pages, absolutely okay. My resume personally is 3 pages. I have 17 plus years, and there's a lot to say about that 17 plus years because I haven't always just been in recruiting or just been in learning. I've done a bunch of it. The only thing I haven't done in my career is the employee relations and comp and benefits side of HR. But all the other fun things in HR, I've been able to do. So when I have ever applied to a job, I have to make sure that I exemplify that within my resume. I can't just say, oh, I've been a recruiter. Oh, I've just been a facilitator. No, I've been all of it. You have to do the same thing too within your resume. No one has a magic 8 ball to understand that you've done all of it if you don't actually spell it out in your resume. So highlight those experiences. Additionally, if you're in a role that has awarded you the ability to have a speaking engagement, publish an article, win an award of some sort, you want to highlight that in your resume. You don't have to attach the published article. You don't have to say what you spoke about in the speaking engagement. It's as simple as saying, I spoke at a learning conference in 2023, right? Or I published an article on the effects of X, Y, and Z, and it's available by request. You definitely don't want to give out your publications just out the gate. You want to make sure you have that by request. If they want to look at it, then you can have it ready to provide. And then industry awards. Again, specific to my industry, because I am an HR kid, right? We have learning industry awards. And so our groups have won awards in the past. You want to highlight that. You want to highlight that the work that you did to contribute to the group resulted in an industry-wide award that your company picked up as a result of the work that you and your team had done. Okay, so don't be afraid to highlight yourself with all the accolades and kudos you've had in the past that are very much specific to the role that you're playing. Again, you're trying to stand out. What better way to do that than show that you've published an article, spoke at a conference somewhere because you're now one of the industry experts and you've won awards, okay? Secondary to that, and I know we touched on this a little bit in the last video about having to show the percentages or ROIs. Sometimes I recognize it may be 10 years ago and you don't quite remember the percentage expectations. But if you remember any kind of numbers, like we had 3,000 employees, and out of those 3,000 employees, with the program that I helped generate, 1,500 of the employees went through the process in less than 1 year, which exceeded the expectations of the managerial staff, who only expected 750 to go through, right? From there, you can create a percentage, and you can then highlight that as how effective you were within your program. Because again, you've got to tell the story with both the numbers and the words. You want people to see your results. And so even if there weren't any tangible percentages or dollars behind it, just saying that you improved engagement doesn't tell the story. You improved engagement how? We set out to improve employee engagement by creating a leadership program, creating one-on-one coaching. As a result of that, our engagement scores increased year over year. There were no numbers in that explanation I just gave, and yet it still provided a story with a results yielding. So always remember that as you're looking through your resume, because again, you've got to be able to tell the story to get it past the recruiter to get in front of the manager. Once you get in front of the hiring manager, that is where you can sing, right? That is where that resume truly comes to life. You can share your story. You can go into far more detail about each of those bullet points on your resume. But you can't tell that full story and all the information behind those bullet points if you can't get past step one. So provide as much concrete detail in the most succinct manner possible. And then you have set yourself up to get in front of that hiring manager to then provide the details that they're truly looking for in that interview. All right, I think that's enough for today. If you liked today's video, comment below on other things you may want to look at in the future or other things you'd like me to discuss. And as always, you can check out my website, careergameplancoach.com, to look at the other services that I provide. Next up, we're going to talk about our LinkedIn profiles and how to make sure that those are optimized as we're looking for our next roles as well. Talk to you soon.